Welcome to another episode of the Bludd Heart Podcast. I truly hope you guys are having a good 2021 thus far. I have a lot of Diablo Immortal stuff to talk about today, and I'm going to put timestamps and chapters in the YouTube video if you're watching the YouTube version of the podcast. So you can skip around or you can kind of tackle it in bite-sized pieces, but we're going to do that. If you don't know, I have put out a YouTube video of the top 5 things I want to get changed about the game. So it was like feedback / please change this now. And then it was another video, 5 things I really like about the game. So if you want like a more cohesive, or if you just want more Bluddshed, it's definitely here on the YouTube channel. Also, if you're watching the YouTube version of the podcast, I have some of my live stream footage up top. There's lots of overlays and everything, but at least you get to see some Immortal alpha footage. Hopefully that can tide you over until then. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments or watch me on stream, twitch.tv/Bluddshed. You can always hit me on Twitter, Bluddshed, for any questions you have. But I'm going to go through some of the big parts of the game, some of my favorite parts of the game, and tell you what they are in case you don't know, and offer some feedback on what I think it could be. And sometimes even talking about it to the developers sparks change in a good way. Like they might hear my feedback and be like, well, we don't agree with this, but maybe we could do this better. So, and then, any comments you have, put them in the description, as they might be watching the video. They're probably watching the video, and you can get your voice heard that way and make the game better. All right, Lairs. Okay, so if you don't know about Lairs, you have to be out in the open world, and there's a chance you can get a lair. Lair is like a dungeon, almost like a D2 dungeon. So you could be out doing bounties, out, we call it like adventure mode, right? And then you can find a lair. There are specific spots where lairs spawn, but it's RNG. Like sometimes you can go to the, I forget the zone's called, but like in Diablo 3, sometimes you can get Cave of the Moon Clan, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you get Icefall Caves, sometimes you don't. So it just kind of depends, right? So that's how a lair is. Like eventually it'll spawn, and it's the only way you can get farmable gems. It's like the best way to farm normal gems. You just keep looking for lairs and keep farming gems that way. Now you do get gems and bounties, but your bounties, you can only do a certain amount per day. So lairs is like that dungeon pop-up where it has a resource in there that's super valuable. You can run it alone or with your group members, and it's pretty awesome when you get it. And if you don't know, once you work your way through the dungeon, you can get a chance to spawn a second lair. So like in Diablo 3 or whatever, there's a number. There's always Cave of the Moon Clan 1 and Cave of the Moon Clan 2. But in Diablo Immortal, there is a percentage chance. I don't know what that percent is, maybe 25 to 50. There is a percentage chance for you to spawn a portal to lair number 2, which is really cool because you get, again, the rare resource that you can't farm anywhere else in the game, and it makes it valuable. That's kind of one thing that Immortal does really well, is it offers lots of different types of currency, almost like how Path of Exile has lots of different types of currency, and it makes these other activities valuable when you put something behind it, and then it makes us want to hunt them. Otherwise, why would we do them if it's not the most XP per hour and so forth, right? You have to give players incentive to do different things, and it works out for everybody, I feel. So I guess my feedback would be, I would increase the amount of floors you can get. So there's a chance you can get a second floor. Out of the 50 or 100 lairs I've done, you can never get a third floor. So I would definitely increase the floors to 3, 4, 5 even, and make it smaller. Like let's say the first one's 50-50, and to get a third lair, it's only 25% if you want. And then the fourth one's 10 and the fifth one's 5. I think this kind of creates like these oh shit moments in the game, and you're like, dude, I got a 5th layer, and it's not easily farmable. It's just RNG based, and I think it would just be fun to have that to go deeper than just the 2, since they are so damn rare. I want to spend my time in lairs, not hunting for them, because it can get tedious if you really need gems, and you're just going to be going around looking for spawns. It is kind of fun to create a meta around looking for lairs, right? Because then you can be like, okay, this is my lair route, and then you can share it with your friends or your favorite content creators, and kind of say, oh, you run this, I run this, I found it more efficient to do this one, and then maybe different zones will have different lair runs. And yeah, I mean that would be pretty cool to have a meta around it. So and I want to them increase the amount of Lairs we can get. That would be awesome, right? I don't necessarily want to get progression faster, right? Because I kind of like the slower progression speed. I think a lot of us know it's healthier for the game. It's just cool to get these oh crap moments that happen in the game. And I do want to increase the time I'm playing versus increasing the time where I'm, running around doing nothing, All right, the next topic, legendary mobs. So if you don't know, legendary mobs in Immortal are like finding a rainbow goblin, right? You can find a bunch of goblins, but sometimes it's a rainbow goblin. Sometimes it's a pet goblin. And that's kind of how legendary mobs are. And they have a chance to roll as a regular mob, as a rare pack, as a magic pack, but sometimes you have a chance to get a legendary pack. And this legendary pack of monsters, or this legendary monster, right? It's really, you can easily notice it's like freaking super orangey gold, right? And it's legendary mob when you see it. It has a really high chance to drop a legendary, right? There's about with my findings, about 25 to 30% chance for it to be legendary. Some people say it's way higher than that, but it's a small sample size. They take about an hour to 2 hours to find one currently if you're running with Barb, sprinting around. If you're playing with any other class currently, because they move slower than Barb, you're looking at like maybe once every 4 hours or so. But they have a really high chance for legendary, and legendaries don't drop like candy in Immortal, if you don't know, compared to like D3, for instance. The legendaries tend to drop more like how Diablo 3 vanilla drops legendaries, really slow, and you have to kind of work for it. You can get like a couple a day if you don't really know what you're doing or you don't get lucky, right? You can get like 1 or 2 a whole day if you farm for like 8 hours. So these mobs are super valuable. And like Lairs, they kind of create these oh shit moments. Like I'm going to be using that a lot because these are cool moments in the game where you're like, oh crap, I got that extra layer. Oh crap, I got a legendary mob. And since there is not a lot of legendaries dropping, when you do get a legendary, it's a big deal, right? You need legendaries to upgrade legendaries, and you want to collect them all and make your own build and see what the game has to offer. They're really important. They're a valuable resource, getting legendaries, not only for their powers, but to also upgrade your existing ones. And I guess my feedback for that would be, man, it sucks if you're not using Barb, because all the other classes have such incredible movement speed. Like Barb has like sprint basically always, and Wizard, Demon Hunter, and Monk do have movement abilities, and they do have some movement speed abilities, but the efficiency is super bad compared to Barb. So hopefully everybody can get a movement speed buff, or maybe a legendary gem that increases your movement speed when you're not in combat at least, so then you can run around and just get around the map faster, because it's just completely eliminates that whole part of the game for these other classes. If you are doing bounties and you happen to come across one, then I guess it's okay. But when you're trying to specifically farm them, because maybe you just want to spend your day hunting legendary mobs to share with your friends, it kind of makes it not as fun. And I feel like a lot of people would start Barb for that. And there's other things that Sprint does for the class, which I covered in my feedback video. So if you want more of an answer on how strong the movement speed can be, definitely check that. And remember, it is still alpha, so things can change, and that's why we're talking about it now, potential problems, so that when the game launches, it'll be in a pretty good state overall. Another problem I can see with legendary monsters is that you can't really share them with your friends on launch because of the tagging mechanic. So if you find a legendary mob and you call your buddy over, right, they can't instantly, at least right now, they can't instantly teleport on top of you. Like Diablo 3, as far as I know, they have to teleport to the nearest waypoint and then run to you. Now it is pretty cool. You can click on your friend and click auto path, and it'll auto path you to them, because trying to communicate where they are in the open world is going to be tough, right? Like in WoW, you need coordinates, right? It's kind of, you have to really be on it. But it's cool because you can just click on Blood and and if you join my group, it'll auto follow the path to me, so you can just chill and wait till you get there. But the problem is, somebody else can come along and tag the mob, and you won't have a chance to get it. So it sucks because you can't share them, which it would be a cool mechanic to be able to share legendary mobs. On the alpha, there wasn't a lot of us. It was a very small test, and it was easier for me to invite people over and share the legendary mobs with each other. And it definitely increased our legendaries per hour, but I feel like it won't be like this on launch because you have so many people on the server, right? You can tag it and run around until they get there, which this might be something I'll do sometimes. But yeah, I mean, if they intend it to be like not shareable really, and just if you guys happen to see it, then that's cool. I'm okay with that mechanic. But if they intend for us to share it with our friends, it's really weird because you have to tag the mob and then you have to wait for them to get there. It's kind of like a rainbow portal or a rainbow goblin. If I encounter a rainbow goblin, I have to keep hitting it and wait for my friend I have to invite my friend, get them to enter the game before I kill the goblin, because then he can't get in the portal. So it's kind of like that, where a lot of people stop sharing rainbow goblins. In D3, now I could see a lot of us not sharing legendary mobs, which would be a cool community interaction feature if there was an easier way. Maybe if they could just port on top of your location or something like that, it would help dramatically. You can say, hey, legendary mob on me, everyone port, and then you can tag it and run around with it or something. But that would be my feedback. My feedback is I support them if they want to make it not shareable as easily, but if they're trying to increase community interaction, then you need to have like port on top of the character like in D3, or maybe you have it so anybody walking by can tag it at least and then get credit for it. So if you are waiting for your friends, you don't have to tag it and run around like a crazy person for 3 minutes. You can just, if somebody comes by and takes it, then what are you going to do, right? The next topic I have to talk about is storied dungeons. Now these are just basically like dungeons or whatever, but they're like more like dungeons in World of Warcraft, where there's like some kind of story driven mechanic in there. Like you go through, you kill the Countess, you go through and you fight Bale or whatever. Spoilers, right? There's like a story there. It's almost like a World of Warcraft handcrafted thing. It is really nice to farm them because we got to change the screen really quick. It is really nice to farm them because it has a sense of completion. Like you're doing it and you go through this little story and there's a big boss at the end or whatever, and it's usually like driven. There's like a little mini adventure, right? If you have some time. It's cool to farm dungeons in WoW and to farm dungeons in Diablo Immortal. That's a pretty cool thing about it. And like we've been talking about, there is different activities for different metas currently, like the legendary mobs or the Lairs. And right now, farming storied dungeons is the most XP per hour and the most materials per hour, like respectively. So this is what you're going to be doing a lot, are these storied dungeons if you just want to do generic farming. And I like that. It's its own thing, unique. The only problem is, I guess the way I would change it is I would make it so maybe there's a daily. So like for Monday, whatever, it would be the Countess day. And every time you do a Countess dungeon, you get a cache of materials. So right now the Countess has a bunch of chests in that dungeon, and that makes it the most materials per hour because it spawns lots of chests. I would remove the chests from the Countess runs. Don't hate me, alpha testers. I would remove that, and then every day there'd be a bonus. So like today's Countess day, you get a big cache of materials or just a cache of materials for completing that dungeon. And then tomorrow it will be a different dungeon, like the Bale dungeon, for instance. And then every day you have your daily, you can farm, and it never ends. It's just, that's the bonus for the day. There's a lot of games that do similar mechanics to it. I think that would help the variety. And the developers do spend a long time on these dungeons. We really won't see the other ones if some of them give you more materials, right? There's a lot of dungeons in the game. And it would make those Countess days more special if you just like running the Countess more. You might be like, oh, hell yeah, it's a Countess day or whatever. And then that would, maybe you would focus on dungeons that day. And if it's a dungeon you don't like, then maybe you won't spend your day doing it. Do other things to farm XP and be out in the world, maybe farming Lairs or legendary mobs. There's the end game, there's challenge drifts, there's a lot of stuff in the game. So I feel like that would help variety overall, just having it be a bonus per day. Or you can have it bounce around. Like once you do the Countess, then the next bonus is a different one, and then it just keeps bouncing to all the different dungeons. That might be yet another way to make it better. You can tell the variety is what I like the most about Immortal, and I covered that in my video, is I like just having different stuff to do. And you'll find that, especially in this podcast, like, wow, he's talking about a lot of different things, because there's a lot of different things to do in Immortal. And I think in Diablo 3, which is one of my favorite game of all time, is, like I'm stuck in town a lot, and it's almost like a little hub, like a garrison hub. Like I'm in Act 1 typically, and it's like a damn garrison, right? And then all my crafting stuff's right here. And sometimes I might go do bounties if I have to, blah, in Diablo 3, right? And then sometimes I might go do, well, even Ubers are in Act 1, so it further proves my case there. So yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, but like in Immortal, you're out in the world doing different things, and I love that about the game, is it gets me moving. So bounties, right? Bounties in Diablo 3 suck. I think they suck because there's no cap on them, because bounties in Immortal makes me so happy. Like the bounties in Immortal are the same thing basically, where they're just like quests where you go kill stuff or you go collect things, but they're so much fun and you're so thankful that you get them. They're super rewarding, right? In Immortal, you're always resource starved, you're always XP starved. You basically never have enough of anything. So when you do get something, they made the currency valuable, right? So when you do get something, you're like, thank you, Lord RNGesus. You blessed me with materials this day. So bounties are capped at 12 per day, and you can auto path to them, which makes it super chill. And there's no auto combat, in case you're wondering, right? Well, I get that question a lot. There's no auto combat, but there is auto pathing once you complete the zone. So once you get bounties and complete everything, then you can auto path to the location. Super chill. Once you get there, you just start killing everything. You can do 12 a day. And every time you do 4, you get like a bonus chest. And then every time you do 8, you get up another bonus chest. And then when you do 12, you get your final bonus chest. And they give you the gems that we talked about earlier, which are super valuable, super, super valuable. And you get charms, which are the end game kind of crafting mechanic. And super valuable. Charms don't really drop ever. Like they're so damn rare, which makes bounties that much more valuable. So you can see you create a need for currency and then a scarcity in your game, and it just creates value, and it's amazing. One thing I would do for sure is double the bounty rewards. The rate at which we get stuff is too slow. Again, I do want to keep the game super slow, but it's like, it might take you a year to get your gem maxed. You know, it's a little too slow. I don't want to make the game easier, but you don't understand if you haven't played alpha. It'll take you like years to get this shit all maxed out. So I would definitely double the rewards for bounties, even maybe the XP rewards. And having bounties so strong, even stronger than they are now, would help casuals, because if you only have enough time to do your bounties every day and not really grind for hours, well, you can get that huge spike up and you can kind of stay closer to the other players. You know, if you get the majority of your progress in a small like spurt, then, you know, me and you, if you're watching the video, me and you are here, boom. And then I'll just be slowly grinding from here, but you're still here. And then the next day we both get that jump together, and then maybe I pull away longer. I think it reduces the gap, you know? Anyway, I would probably double the rewards on bounties, double XP, everything across the board. Another thing I would do to bounties is people, again, alpha testers might not like me, is remove the dungeon bounty. Sometimes you can get a bounty for dungeons and, you know, it super increases the XP you get and all this stuff. And people are already finding ways to exploit it, right? We're like super game nerds, right? So we're finding ways to break the game. And you can re-roll bounties, and people are like inviting their friends and just flipping, and everyone joins, and you flip it until you get a dungeon bounty because it's more valuable. And I just find it to be cancerous and not fun. And again, if I'm spending time not playing the game, I think over time I'm going to hate it. Like if I'm not actually playing it, if I'm trying to do things like this where I'm re-rolling and inviting people over, and then other people are doing it more than me, it's just like, I don't know, maybe the XP per hour isn't worth it and they should leave it. But again, if you had a bonus dungeon per day, like we talked about, where every day this dungeon gives you bonus rewards across the board, then you wouldn't need that for bounties. And bounties could be just these world quests where you go kill things. It just doubled down on what bounties are good at, and that's keeping you out in the world and out of instance dungeons. And you know, you have a chance to do these zone quests, which they are in the game. They're like public quests. You have a chance to get these blue quests, which are pop-up quests out of nowhere. You have a chance to find the Lairs. You have a chance to find goblins even. You have a chance to find legendary mobs. So I think bounties should not be on dungeons and should just keep us out in the open world. Now, there's only a few of them per day, but it can be toxic, and I think it's just not a good thing. And Yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. Let's keep bounties just bounties. We don't need to have dungeon bounties. Huh? Speaking of keeping people together, man, guilds. They have guilds or clans or whatever in Diablo Immortal, as you would expect, I guess. There's some cool features, like you like leave a voice message from your phone for your clan so they can hear it, like, welcome to the Blood Brotherhood. We have fresh Applebee's in the back and drinks, open bar all night till 2 a.m. You know, enjoy your stay. So you can listen to my voice or whoever the clan leader voice is, and it's pretty cool, right? And the one thing is the cap is 150 members. Now, I have a lot of experience with a Diablo game with a clan cap at 150, and I'm a popular streamer. And even me, like filling up the clan, having a full clan constantly since like early on for multiple years, it feels dead. Like 150 is just too damn low, and it feels really, really dead. You know, like there's 150 people, right? So what's the percentage of a clan that's online at any given time? It could be like 5%, right? So what's 5% of 150? I don't know, like 7.5, something like that. It's just not a lot of people. You know, one person might be AFK, one person might be at work, and like, you know, one person's, you know, making dinner, playing some Immortal. Then you have like what, 4 people, right? So you can have one group, or you have 5 people that are actually able to group up, and then 4 people are running a dungeon and one person's left out. It just feels so barren to have 150 size clan in 2021. I mean, I don't know what the thought process, they want to keep them small and intimate, but it just feels meh. But that's my opinion. People might like a smaller atmosphere. I would increase the clan size to like 500 plus. I know I'm probably biased because I'm a streamer, but I think anybody that played Diablo 3 has experience in their clan, and all I hear all day on stream is, how can I find an active clan? Nobody's logged into my clan. Blood, can I join your clan? You know, it's just, I think it would be benefit for a bigger clan size. I'm talking 500 plus to keep it popping, but you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. It just feels like it needs a bump, and people that like small clans don't have to invite people. You know, it's like you can keep it small or whatever. It's depressing, man. Can we get a bigger clan size? I don't know. One thing I thought to add to clans, and one thing I noticed across the board in general, is achievements. Okay, so people might really like achievements, and people might really like small clans, and I honestly respect everyone's opinion, and just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I don't respect it. Personally, for me, I've never been a big achievement hunter for the sake of getting achievements. Like, it doesn't appeal to me. It seems like inefficient DPS loss. You know, sometimes it's fun. I think there was like a WoW one where you get your unarmed to cap, right? Like sometimes I'll interact with it, but overall, I'm not just going to sit there and do all these weird achievements and feel good. Like, it just doesn't work for me. The only time it works for Blood is when I get something for it. Like in Diablo 3, we bust our ass with the set dungeons, we get all the achievements, and then we get set dungeon wings, right? Or in World of Warcraft, you do a bunch of stuff and it leads to me getting a mount or something that I can show that I worked toward, you know, a banner, some cosmetic, or just literally anything that I can work for and get is a better achievement, like a badge of honor, you know? So there are guild achievements, and I would add stuff to them to make it worthwhile. All right, that's the TLDR basically on that. Another thing I would add is, which might be controversial with bigger clans, but you know, screw it. You know, you should join a big clan then, right? And have a big community. Is I would add like a leaderboard based on like experience points. So then you can have like clans on like a leader. It doesn't have to be serious. This is not an esport. It's just a mobile game, right? It's just a fun Diablo experience at the palm of your hand, right? So like every week, like your total goes to the leaderboard, and like, you know, all your XP is calculated, or for the month, or during maybe the duration of the battle pass. All the XP you earn from everybody, man. Even new players that are leveling get XP. Leveling gets the most XP per hour. So like 1-2 max level is the most for sure. So maybe if you're leveling, like only 25% of that goes to the total, but make it so even new players want to join the clan and help your guild rank up, and whoever has the highest number of XP ranks in the season wins, right? I think that would be cool. Like, new players join, you're like, yeah, join the clan. You're actively recruiting new players so they can help your totals. You're actively recruiting your friends and maybe running dungeons together. Maybe if you do a dungeon together, you get like a 5% buff, like something small, but something that is meaningful, right? And that encourages grouping together. Warriors in blood, so like if people do things together, fight together, bust their ass together, it's going to build camaraderie within the community and within each other, right? You're like, damn, good job today. And then within the clan, you can maybe organize it by who, like your XP for the week, so people can see, and then maybe you can give out awards or maybe trade items or something. You can't trade, but I don't know. Just even give kudos, shout outs, do with a voice thing that I told you about. I can be like, the top 3 contributors of the week, is Kill of Death 666 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like King of Death, Viper Venom, Smith P Dub, right? You can give these kind of shout outs to your team members that are busting their ass, right? So I think like that's what leaderboards do. Like, even if it's like not your rank 1, it's still your blood brothers, man. You're fighting together, you're on the front lines working together, and you could be like, we can get to top 100 or top 1000. I don't know how many people are going to be playing. It's a free to play game, so there might be a million people on the leaderboard, right? So getting to and you could even have like, it could say like top 5% to make everyone feel good, because being like, I don't know, rank 300,000 doesn't sound good, but if it says like you're a top 10% guild, right? You're a top 15% guild, you're in the top 5 percentile or top 1 percentile, that kind of stuff is cool, and it builds camaraderie. And damn it, I think they should add guild levels like that, and guild achievements and all that. If the developers hate that idea, then maybe add guild ranks like in World of Warcraft. I don't know if WoW still has guild ranks, but you could level up your guild. And, as you complete the achievements or as you level up, like you get to rank 25, you get certain perks, nothing crazy, but maybe certain perks to help you progress and make you feel like a clan, maybe some cosmetics or guild housing one day. I don't know, like guild clan halls to kind of build that player base together, So for those of you that didn't watch me stream Immortal for multiple weeks, over 100 hours, like 120 hours, I like the game a lot. It does have some issues, and I did cover that in my other feedback video. It's really fun, easy to control. They hinted that they're going to work on controller support, which is awesome. I would love a controller. I bought these wrist pads. Look at if you're watching the video version, right? And I use them to put my elbows on, because playing at my desk with my elbows down, for 9-10 hours a day was starting to wear on my elbows a little bit. But I kept my posture straight. My back was good. My neck was good. I was looking forward. It was just my elbows were resting, so that was kind of the problem for me. But yeah, the controls are good. The upgrade system was really, I love the grind. It was just enough to keep me going. For Blood, I always liked Immortal since 2018, I do hate mobile games that go after these aggressive kind of monetization strats. So I'm fighting for Immortal to be better at that, and we'll see what happens on launch. It's still alpha. They're changing things all the time. And I really like the game, and I would like to cover this, especially, in this time we have before Diablo 4 comes out. So that would be great, and then I'll probably make a little section on my website so you can see Diablo 3 builds, Immortal builds, and then eventually Diablo 4 builds, please. So that'd be great to have that. But I hope you like this little bite-sized version of the podcast. I wanted it to be longer form, so I didn't want to put on a YouTube video. It is a YouTube video, but yeah, I wanted to get a podcast. It's been a while since I did a podcast episode. I'm going to try to keep up on it, especially with all these, with Diablo 4, Immortal, and, hopefully we get a Diablo 3 patch coming out soon. But thank you so much for supporting me over the years on the podcast. And I look forward to many more times together, brothers and sisters. This is Bluddshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.